the 11.
Well, and Hollis Jefferson and Johnson go 3 for 19 tonight. There's the 20th shot.
And Johnson 3 of 16 by himself.
Yeah, and that's a problem.
They only have one made three, and it was by Johnson in the first half. T.J. McConnell really has not been able to get going either. They've defended him well. Only 4 assists as a team for Arizona. DeLon Wright got it to Machinsky. Thought he was fouled. So did Larry Krystkowiak. Meanwhile, Hollis Jefferson to Johnson, and he couldn't finish again, but he was fouled.
Larry Krystkowiak is taking off his coat right now. Luckily, he threw it without the official seeing him, and top staff is watching him closely. Now, I thought Machinsky was good. See, Machinsky just doing his job, straight up. I'm sorry, Marzuki. That's what's good.
So Johnson at the line shooting 2. That's the 14th foul in Utah, one against Isaiah Wright.
Yeah, you don't want to penalize Marzuki for being 17 foul. Machinsky took it to him. Marzuki held his ground.
Johnson gets the second one. 2-point game. So despite Arizona shooting 28% and 15% this half, 15, they're down just 2.
Oh, I love this. This is exactly what we expected, Dave. You can talk about all the offensive numbers. Both of these teams hang their hat on this kind of defense.
Loveridge, no, but he was fouled by Ashley. That's the second on Ashley.
See, I love that play by Loveridge. Anytime I felt my team, where we didn't get a call at that end of the floor, I instructed my guys, you go to the rim on the next possession, because officials are human. If they felt like they missed the first one, they might make it up to you right there. Loveridge was the aggressor.
You're talking about Larry Krystkowiak getting rid of the coat. While Arizona was fast breaking after the no call. Loveridge gets the second free throw.
That coat will be dry cleaned on Monday, I can tell you.
So back to a 4-point lead midway through the second half.
Yeah, I think McConnell's got to make some plays in the paint.
And here he gets into the lane. To Johnson, and he's fouled. Johnson goes back to the line for his 4-5 tonight. That's the 15th foul on Utah. They get Loveridge for his 3rd personal.
Good dish by T.J. McConnell. He's got to make the game easier for his teammates down the stretch. You've got to get guys like Johnson to the foul line if they're not going to finish around the rim.
Now, when you're coaching a young player like Stanley Johnson, Fran, and he's struggling, 3 of 16. This is 4th or 5th game in a row where his offense hasn't been there. What do you tell him?
You know, you got to stay with him. I had a guy named Ron Artest who once go 1 for 18 against Syracuse in Madison Square Garden, and we had to live and die with him. Now, Stanley has got to get himself to the foul line if he's not going to make jump shots or finish. But you got to stay with Stanley Johnson because he's won you some big games this year.
He's 5 of 7 at the line. Arizona back down 3. DeLon Wright on the drive. And a foul called on Arizona. That's 5 team fouls on the Wildcats. Hollis Jefferson for his 3rd.
This is such a great play by Wright. We're seeing the end of it. He came off the screen one way. They re-screened for him, and he stayed right on the defender's back like he was behind an 18-wheeler on a highway.
So DeLon Wright shoots 2. He's 8 of 10 tonight. 91% in conference games at the line. Finalist for the Wooden Award. Cousy Award as well for best point guard. He was Utah's first All-Pac-12 player. Utes just joined the league a few years back. He also made the all-defensive team a year ago, and he might be the player of the year in the conference this year.
And the Wright family is likely to have 2 NBA players at this time next year. This kid knows how to play.
Largest lead tonight for Utah. Ashley spins. Oh, he went for the throwdown, but couldn't get it. Stanley Johnson, another offensive rebound. Working hard, but can't get it to fall. And it's Utah ball.
you love Johnson's ability to go get it, but he's got to make the easy one.
He's got 10 rebounds, but he's not finishing. He'll go to the bench. Remember, he was banged up in the first half as well. Here's Dakari Tucker, a three. Short. Hollis Jefferson with a rebound. Utah wins. We've got a tie atop the Pac-12 standings with 2 games left. McConnell, and it's locked.
But I like that from McConnell. I want to see him do more of that.
Blocking foul call on Loveridge, and that's 4 on Jordan Loveridge. 16 fouls on Utah.
Watch McConnell now. He's going to get rejected, but I like this idea of getting himself to the rim. He'll dump it off when he needs to. And then here comes the foul. Yeah, that's close. You're allowed, if you're legally guarded, you're allowed to slide sideways and backwards.
So Reyes replaces Loveridge with 4 fouls. Arizona ball down 5. They have almost as many points from the line tonight as they do from the field, Arizona. They're 2 of 17 from the floor this half. They have 1 made 3 the entire night. Yet they're only down 5 points.
Yeah.
7th ranked team in the country. McConnell into the lane. Gets it. And he's very capable of making that shot. Just his 2nd basket tonight.
I think he's got to do more of that. He did it in the first half of their first meeting. Ended up with 14.
Here's DeLon Wright through the lane. And the kick out to Tucker. Arizona all over it.
Hey, right now, DeLon Wright is a maestro out there.
Look at him move into the lane. Gets it out to Taylor. And he buries a break. Largest lead tonight for Utah. Forces Sean Miller to call for time. For Brandon Taylor, that leads the league. That's his first points of the night.
What did we say an hour and a half ago? Tonight would be the 2-point guards, and it would be how they manage pick-and-roll basketball. This guy's been awesome in the second half. The drive, the kick-out, and the first really decent look that Brandon Taylor's gotten in a long, long time.
And again, Utah has to win. The pressure is on the Utes tonight. Arizona owns the tiebreaker, so even if Utah wins, they're tied atop the standings with 2 games left in the regular season. And Utah not only playing to try to tie Arizona and get a share of the Pac-12 championship, but also proceeding in the NCAA tournament. Right now, Joe Lunardi has them as a 3.
No, that fits perfectly. Think about what they did early in the year. They played at San Diego State. They played at Vegas. They played at Kansas. They beat Wichita at home. Got a win over UCLA. They set up the non-conference to get them ready. And this guy right here, he epitomizes Utah basketball. His freshman year, Dave, he played very little in the first half of the year. By the end of the season, he fit right in. And Larry Krystkowiak will tell you, he represents what we're all about. Hard work.
First conference home game for Utah with both teams in the top 15 since 1997. One of the biggest games ever in this building with a Pac-12 title on the line. 8 minutes to go, Utes by 6. Where will Arizona go to get its offense? York for 3. It's there! His first triple of the night.
Huge breakdown that time. No help on the pick and roll. Reyes got caught inside, and that's big for York.
Just the second made 3 for Arizona tonight. Here's Taylor, and rejected by York. Ahead to Hollis Jefferson. And he throws it down. 5 straight points for Arizona after the timeout to get back within 1.
You know what I like about that? 5 relatively easy points. The open 3 and then the run out.
They double right, got caught in the air, and somehow found Reyes. Can't put it in. The chance good by Turtle.
It wasn't that great by Wright to find himself in the double team and make that cross-court pass.
Timeout by Utah. That's the fifth. Would have been the sixth assist for DeLon Wright, but Reyes couldn't make the basket. Poeltl, though, was right there to tip it in. He's been quiet tonight offensively. That was just his fourth point.
Remember what we said about coaching adjustments earlier in the game and at the walkthrough today? What did Sean Miller just adjust to? Double team Wright, try to take it out of his hands. He reacts with a great cross-court pass.
Now both these coaches were once excellent college players. There's a lot of players turned coaches in the Pac-12. Of course, Johnny Dawkins, Larry Krystkowiak, the leading scorer and rebounder at Montana. Sean Miller, excellent point guard at Pitt. Steve Alford, one of the best shooters in college basketball history. Lorenzo Romar had an NBA career as well. Ernie Kent played on some good Oregon teams.
And don't forget my man Wayne Tinkle at Oregon State, who's done a fabulous job this year. He and Larry Krystkowiak were teammates at Montana.
Tad Boyle was a player through Kansas.
Absolutely. But what a great job Wayne Tinkle has done in Corvallis this year.
Oregon State for their chance to get into the postseason.
Absolutely, yeah. Great recruiting class coming in. Of course, the coach's son is on the way. He's a heck of a player.
Here's Tarczewski, who's the leading scorer tonight for Arizona. Look at that throw! Spin move! Zeus with the jam and a foul.
23 NBA teams. This kid's been maligned. People said he couldn't play. Take a look at what he does when he gets space.
Wow! With the confidence higher, you're seeing him elevate the play as well.
No question. Watch, he's going to back in. Great move by Tarczewski. We talked about the athleticism. Big play.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by DirecTV. If you call yourself a sports fan, you gotta get DirecTV. A man pioneers a way to see the unseen, leading to radar, forever providing early warnings and safer journeys. The conviction to create a safer journey is the Mazda way. The Mazda 6 uses radar, lasers, and sensors to detect objects and even apply the brakes for you. Introducing the modern sports sedan, the 2015 Mazda 6. What do you drive?
Right now at Burger King, get 10 chicken nuggets for just $1.49. No, wait, is that really right?
Yep, says it right there. $1.49, 10 nuggets, limited time only.
All right. They're crispy and golden on the outside, made with white meat on the inside. Get more your way, only at Burger King.
Attention, everyone. 5-Hour Energy's taste is new and improved. That's right. 5-Hour Energy shots now taste great and come in 10 exciting flavors. A lot of brands think you can't handle straightforward information like this. But to make an informed decision, we know you want facts, not some cheap joke. New improved taste, 10 great flavors. Have you tried 5-Hour Energy lately?
This Sunday on SportsCenter, for Texas hoop star Imani McGee-Stafford, escaping a troubled pass was a tall task, but through the power of words and poetry, she was determined to overcome. SC Featured presents Her Voice, premieres tomorrow, 11 a.m. Eastern, on SportsCenter. Now, Arizona has been challenged physically and psychologically tonight and is responding. Back within one of Utah, they've hit their last 4 field goals. They lead the conference on top of Utah by 1 game. If they win tonight, they clinch the #1 seed and a share of the regular season title. If Utah wins, then they're tied with 2 games left. If they remain tied at the end of the regular season, Arizona would have the tiebreaker most likely. Tarczewski trying to complete the 3-point play. He's had a brilliant night. 13 points, but could not get the 3-point play. Utah touched that last. That was off of Dakari Tucker. The officials having a discussion, and they will give it to the Utes. I think that hit Tucker, though.
You know, neither referee I watched, neither referee had a great angle here. See, everybody's blocked out.
You know, though, did it hit Ashley's foot after Tucker touched it? Maybe that's why there was a confusion whether it actually hit Ashley's foot. It may have. Utah ball leading by 1.
They have not contained Arizona. DeLon Wright, especially in the screen and roll game.
Wright has 17 points to lead all score. Loveridge has 10, but he's on the bench in foul trouble.
See, I'd get it back to Wright and let him make some plays because he's done it the whole second half.
There's McConnell on Wright. Shot clock at 7, right behind the back. Now from outside, missed the 3. Arizona looking to retake the lead on this possession. Hollis Jefferson into the lane, and a foul on the floor, called a block. That'll put Hollis Jefferson at the line. That's the 18th foul, and only the first personal against DeLon Wright.
You get Hollis Jefferson on the move with his dribble, this is where he becomes really hard to guard. Good look by McConnell.
Can he make his free throw? He's a 70% shooter on the season. And this is his first trip to the line tonight. Has 2 points. He does have 5 rebounds. There's the Hollis Jefferson shimmy, and he gets the front end of the 1-and-1.
Don't change a thing, right?
I think that shimmy has its own Twitter handle. I'm not kidding.
I know. So does Sean Miller's song, right?
It does. Right.
Chester, Pennsylvania, home of Bo Ryan and Jameer Nelson and Rondé Hollis Jefferson. A tough kid, tough area.
He got them both, and Arizona's back on top. Last lead was at halftime. Stanley Johnson back on the floor. Just 3 of 18 from the field. DeLon Wright getting a break here with his team down. Let's see how they perform. We got Isaiah Wright in. He did have 3 assists in the first half when Wright was on the bench. Baczynski sets the screen for Taylor. Arizona doesn't bite. Baczynski driving, and they're going to get Tarzewski here for a foul. They say it's a shooting foul. That is 4 on Tarzewski.
You know, you can't penalize a guy for being 7 feet tall. I like the idea.
Now they're saying it's not a shooting foul. Wow. Krzyzewski is saying that should be.
I love the drive, but I don't know. You're not allowed to have any contact.
That is the 16th foul in Arizona, and now Tarzewski's got to come out. That's 4 on him. So Arizona going small with Ashley at the 5.
Look at the contact on this inbound play. And the referees have to come in now.
Sean Miller electing to go small with Ashley instead of going to Ristic and staying big against Pirtle. So Ashley has to guard the 7-footer now. Inbound pass to Taylor. Look at McConnell right there.
Yeah, they walked through that play today.
Taylor knocks it down, and Utah back on top by 1. After not scoring, Taylor has hit 2 big shots here in the second half.
51. 5:18 left. Second free throw. In and out, no good. And the rebound, Loveridge. So we stay tied at 51. Utes with the ball. Isaiah Wright out top. Off to Brandon Taylor. Tried to get him a quick 3. Couldn't find that. York with good coverage defensively. Feed it back now to Isaiah Wright. Over for DeLon Wright. Around a pick from Baczynski. Drives through the lane. His runner is up. Off the rim, no good. Hollis Jefferson snags the rebound for the Wildcats. His 6th of the game.
Great job by Brandon Ashley getting over, being big, making DeLon Wright miss that layup.
Cats set it up in a tie game. 4:42 left. T.J. McConnell. High screen from Ashley. Double team. Throw it to Brandon. Top of the key. Open from 18 and scores it.
The very first shot of the game, and now in crunch time, Brandon hits the exact same shot from 18 feet.
53-51, Arizona. Utah with the ball, DeLon Wright. Walks it across the midcourt stripe, followed by T.J. McConnell's got him defensively right now. Baczynski sets up a high screen. DeLon Wright around it. Doesn't go to the bucket, nearly slipped. Used his left hand to balance himself. Out to Loveridge, throw it high for Taylor, 15 to shoot. Taylor showing the play call now. They go to the double high post. Taylor dribbles right. Leave it in the corner. No shot there for Isaiah Wright. Nearly fell down. Drives through the lane. 5 on the shot clock. Isaiah Wright turns. Pump fake. Got Ashley in the air. and draws the foul on Brandon Ashley. They have to check to see if his foot was on the line or not. It'll be the third foul on Ashley, 7th team against the Wildcats. Timeout on the floor, 3:56 to go in Salt Lake. Going to the wire, 53-51. Cats on top on the Arizona IMG Sports Network.
We all learned at a young age what it was like to be protected and cared for. Even if sometimes it seemed like our parents went to extremes. Farm Bureau agents learned those lessons well, and they put them into practice every day. So if your Farm Bureau agent reminds you of your parents in overprotective mode, that's okay. They're just going to extremes to make insurance simple. To learn more or to find an agent near you, visit simplifymyinsurance.com.
Hello, Wildcat fans. Brian Jeffries here. As voice of the Arizona Wildcats, I see day in and day out what it takes to get ahead of the competition. UPS's team of experts is no different. They offer the tools, advice, and insights to help your small business stay on point. Visit ups.com/startups to find out more. UPS, the official logistics company of Arizona Athletics. Arizona Wildcat basketball on K-Hit 107.5. Let's pause 10 seconds for station identification on the Arizona IMG Sports Network.
Your home of Arizona basketball.
And Tucson's classic hits.
On K-Hit 107.5. KHYT Tucson.
A Cumulus station.
Brad Jeffries, Corey Williams at the Huntsman Center in Salt Lake City. Sold out game. And it's been tight all the way. Cats' biggest lead was 9. Still over 8 minutes left in the first half. Utah by 6, a little over 8 minutes left in the second half. And right now Arizona by 2, with free throws coming up for the Utes here, with 3:56 showing. Again, to reset the situation for you, the fouls, 9 against Utah, 7 against Arizona. Timeouts remaining. Wildcats with 1, Utah with 3.
You would think, Utah obviously wants to keep the ball in the hands of DeLon Wright down the stretch.
Absolutely.
Arizona's done a great job the last few possessions. They've got to make sure they continue to play defense without fouling and control the defensive boards.
They did roll it a 3-point shot. So 3 free throws coming up. Wildcats overcoming a 7 of 22 shooting effort here in the second half. Utah's 8 of 21 in the second half, so neither team you could say is lighting it up. That's obvious. The Wildcats have hit 21 of 29 free throws. Utah's 13 of 18. So Arizona's advantage has been there. Utah's advantage has been outside the arc. So Isaiah Wright, a 77% shooter. He's only attempted 13 free throws this season. He'll get 3 here, and the first one is good. Wright, the Idaho High School Player of the Year out of Bora High School in Boise. Averaging 2 points a game. That's his first of the night. The second one is up and good. So that ties the game at 53. And a third free throw will give Utah back the lead with 3:56 to go. Third free throw, also good. 54-53 Utes. Cats to the ball. TJ McConnell will take it down court. High pick from Ashley. TJ into the lane. Jumper is up, in and out, no good. Rebound batted back to TJ to York. Top of the key, McConnell. Pump fakes the 3. Into the lane. Throw it off underneath. Ball put up.
Rondé with the jam.
Okay, thank you. I got screened out.
Sean Miller blocks you out. TJ McConnell, great penetration. Bounce pass to Rondé for the jam. In traffic, Cats push ahead.
Regain the lead, 55-54. Utah with the ball. DeLon Wright gets knocked down, but no foul. Gets back up to catch the pass. Over for Loveridge. 16 to shoot. Back high right to DeLon Wright. Loveridge looking to set up a screen. Now they'll bring Baczynski out. And Loveridge around it. Weaves his way. Nearly slipped again. Tried to drive on McCall. Step back. The ball knocked away. Got it back. 3 on the shot clock. Over to Taylor. Taylor, pump fake. Throws up a desperation 3. No good. And the rebound nearly tipped out of bounds. Rondé goes to save it. So the Cats to the ball leading by 1. 2:52 left.
TJ McConnell, outstanding defense
DeLon Wright. Here's York open for three. It's over the rim, no good. Rebound batted out to McConnell. So a new shot clock. 2.5 minutes left. Arizona by 1 with the ball. TJ to Rundick. Rolls it near the top of the key. Walks it left by to Stanley Johnson. Stanley trying to get control of the ball, trying to post up Isaiah Wright. Here comes the double team. Stanley's spin move goes up. Ball knocked away and out of bounds off of Utah. So the Arizona ball, 12 on the shot clock.
Wow, Stanley Johnson just hacked on the spin move, loses the ball. He's not having any luck with the officials tonight.
Caleb Tarczewski returns for the Wildcats. Brandon Ashley will come out. Hurdle back in for Utah, but Shinsky to the bench. Cats inbound baseline right. McConnell the trigger, again 12 on the shot clock. TJ throw it in the lane to Rondae, missed the jumper. Rebound, Stanley put it up, that comes off no good. Rebound batted around, who's going to get the ball? Finally, Pirtle for Utah. To DeLon Wright. 2 minutes left. Here's Taylor racing down forecourt left, stop and pop, a three, got it. 8 second half points. And Sean Miller's going to use his last timeout. With 1:55 left. And the Utes have regained the lead 57-55. So Brandon Taylor, during the first half of this game, and he's a deadly outside shooter, by the way, was 0 for 2 and missed his only three-point attempt. But he's hit 2 threes and a 2 here in the second half.
And Brian, I'll tell you, that's a three-point shot you shoot at home. You dare not shoot that on the road. Quick pass up the court. Brandon Taylor, with a defender in his face, still pulls the three. He's a guy who can shoot, but we haven't heard a lot from him tonight. No play bigger than that one right now as the Utes up 2. Crowd back on their feet. Arizona with the ball. Looking to silence this crowd.
1:55 to go. The Wildcats, well, now they still show one timeout on the scoreboard. And I'm going to check here. Now, our stat monitor says one timeout, so at least for right now, it appears they still have a timeout remaining. Unless Utah used that timeout.
Larry did call that last timeout right after the ball went through the hoop. He called the timeout.
All right, so 2 timeouts remain for Utah, 1 for Arizona. The correction there was timeout Utah. Now the Wildcats with the ball, down by 2. TJ McConnell, bring it down court, set it up on the right wing. Taylor out to defend. McConnell to York. Gabe weaves his way down the lane to the bucket. No good, but he's fouled. And will go to the line to shoot 2.
I love that about Gabe York's game. He used to just be a spot-up shooter. There you see in crunch time, he uses the ball screen, gets in the lane, and is going to shoot 2 free throws.
And Jakob Pirtle just fouled out of the game. So the second Ute to foul out. Chapman went out with 5:18 left. Now Pirtle fouls out with 1:39 to go. He had not been that much of a factor, to be perfectly honest with you. 4 points and 4 rebounds. Wyszynski has played better tonight. Wyszynski with 3 fouls. We'd expect to see him back into the ball game. Gabe York will go to the free throw line. If he makes both, we're tied. York is the Wildcats' best free throw shooter by percentage, 79.7%. He's not attempted one tonight. Remember that first game they played down in Tucson? Gabe had missed the previous game against Colorado with a sprained ankle. Did come back to play against Utah just 6 minutes and didn't score. Really wasn't himself. York with 7 points on the night. And shooting 2. 10-team fouls on Utah. The Wildcats will get 2 shots the rest of the way. First free throw is good. New York, calm, collective at the line. 57-56 Utah. York with a chance to tie it. Second free throw is up and it rolls off. No good, but he follows the shot and lays it in. And the Cats take the lead.
What a mental breakdown by Utah as no one, and I mean no one, boxes out the shooter. Gabe York just strolls down the lane, puts his own miss back in. And now it's all about Arizona defensively here with a 1-point lead.
So Utah with the ball, minute 28 left. DeLon Wright Up high left, looking for Taylor. Gets the ball, turns, can't shoot the three. Swing it off for Isaiah Wright. Down to the right corner. Back out to Taylor. Pump fake the three. Won't take it again. Taylor to the top of the key. Still won't shoot. He's trying to find an opening. Tarczewski actually came out to cover him on a couple of occasions. Shot clock at 8. Taylor, top of the key. Now a jumper for three. Is off the back of the rim. No good. Rebound chased down by Gabe York. Pass to the ball. Up by 1.
I can't believe they didn't get the ball to DeLon Wright in crunch time.
58-57 Arizona, less than a minute left. T.J. McConnell with the standing dribble between the circles. T.J. works it down to the right wing. McConnell trying to drive on Taylor, nothing there. Nice crossover. Moves to the bucket, lay it up, no good. And a foul call on T.J.
The officials all over that one. T.J. McConnell with a beautiful crossover, gets in the lane and just a little too strong as Taylor goes flying right in front of the official. Offensive foul. And you want him to be aggressive, but all game long he's done a good job of knocking down that floater. That would have been a good place to put it off the glass.
Timeout with 43.8 seconds remaining. And the Wildcats leading by 1. It'll be Utah's ball on T.J. McConnell, his third personal foul. 8th team against the Wildcats. And that is only the second turnover for Arizona in the second half. So Utah, chance to regain the lead here. Yeah, McConnell, as you said, Corey, had a great move in there, but give Brandon Taylor credit. He saw him down.
He tried to create more space than he needed. In this part of the game, in crunch time, any and every foul is going to be called. If he goes in for the traditional layup, he's probably going to receive a foul.
So again, a possession arrow, by the way, is... That is to Arizona. So possession arrow to Arizona. Each team has one timeout. 10 team fouls on Utah, 8 on Arizona. So another non-shooting foul against the Wildcats would only result in a 1-and-1 for the Utes. They're not going to use that in a situation like this, obviously. They're only hit by a point, but just so you're updated as to where we are right now.
Arizona with the lineup of Tarczewski and Ashley at the 4 and 5. Those are some big bodies out there defensively. Utah likes to stretch the floor. It's going to be important that those 7-footers can stay out and cover any three-point shooters.
Cats will bring out McConnell, Tarczewski, York, Ashley, and Hollis Jefferson. And Utah will inbound in the backcourt. The Wildcats will put up full court coverage here. Baczynski, the only man backcourt, or actually their front court for Utah. And Tarczewski back there with him. Now Ashley's going to back off, and they won't go full court. The inbound to DeLon Wright. He'll take it quickly down across the timeline. DeLon Wright, nice little crossover move. Drives the lane, threw it up over his head. Missed no good. The rebound is going to be tipped to Utah, but wait a minute. That ball hit the underside of the backboard, and it's Arizona ball.
Boy, that is a...
Now they might take a look at it. So I believe they're going to go ahead and look at the monitor to check. One of the officials said that when the ball was tipped on the rebound, one of the Utah players hit it off the underside of the backboard, which would be out of bounds.
And then secondly, DeLon Wright recovered the ball, and he was coming in from out of bounds, and they're probably going to check to make sure he had both his feet in before he grabbed the ball. So a lot of stuff to look at on that last play.
All right, well, they're checking. We'll remind you, Arizona softball takes on Bryant tomorrow in a doubleheader, part of the 2015 Wildcat Invitational. Game 1 starts at 1, followed by immediately by Game 2. Tickets start at $8 if you purchase online. That's the Wildcat softball team against Bryant, doubleheader tomorrow, starting at 1 o'clock at Hillenbrand. Buy your tickets online at ArizonaWildcats.com. All right, 35.7 seconds remaining, and there's 27 showing on the shot clock, but that would be reset, obviously, if it's Arizona ball.
This is possibly the biggest call of the Pac-12 season, because if this ball goes to Arizona and they reset the shot clock, Utah's in a must-foul situation.
Exactly.
And with the free throw parade from here on out. If the Utes maintain, then the game continues. But make no mistake about it, they're taking their time at the table. It's a big call.
Well, the officials looking at the replay. And again, they have to have enough evidence to overturn it. They've made the call now that it's Arizona basketball in backcourt. So now the question is, do they have enough to overturn it, or do they see it another way? They're looking again. Dave Hall and Bob Staffen, two of the officials. Larry Spalding III has had his look, and he has stepped away now from the monitor. Both teams are loosely huddled around their coaches. Sean Miller talking to his team. Larry Krasowiak now starting to talk to his team. But yeah, I mean, this is as big a call as you can get. If it's Utah ball, then, you know, they've got another possession here. Although the shot clock would not be reset. If it's Arizona ball, the shot clock would be reset. And the Wildcats could conceivably nearly run out the clock. But you're right, Corey. Utah would go for a steal. If they don't get it at some point, they'd have to foul.
And that's not to say the game is in the bag by any stretch of the imagination, but it does totally change the strategy. Now here you have a call where they originally award the ball to Arizona. They have to see something, like you said, to overturn that.
Right.
Who knows what they're going to see? They're the only ones looking at it.
And that's a tough situation there, because I don't know what the replays would show based on what we understand the call to be, and that is the ball off the underside of the backboard. That's really difficult. I don't know if there's a camera angle that could clearly show that. And that's what they're trying to see. They would probably see if the direction of the ball changed, which would give them some indication. I was kind of surprised at DeLon Wright's shot there, Corey.
Yeah, it wasn't the best look. It was a circus shot. I mean, he kind of just flung it up over his head.
It is Arizona ball. And it's not going to please the fans here at the Huntsman Center. So the Wildcats with a 1-point lead and possession. New shot clock at 35.7 remaining in the game. And the Utes will pressure full court. Wildcats need to get it inbounded. That's their number one priority. They get it into Hollis Jefferson. And foul by Dakari Tucker. So the instructions for Utah, foul right away. Rondae Hollis Jefferson, who has made 3 of 4 at the line, will walk down to shoot 2. 34.2 seconds remain.
Well, it's the basic rules of basketball from here on out for Arizona. You never foul the shooter, and you have to hit the defensive glass.
Hollis Jefferson shoots 69.6% on the season. And he will shoot 2. The shimmy, the shot is up, and it rattles and goes. Wildcats by 2. Rondae will shoot 1 more. Elliot Pitts will check in for the Cats. Brandon Ashley out.
Arizona goes small so they can switch all the ball screen action, all the pick action. They just got to defend without fouling.
Hollis Jefferson trying to get the Wildcats a 3-point lead. Free throw is up. It is perfect. Cats up by 3, 60-57. Utah with the ball. Do they go for 3 here? We'll see. DeLon Wright will take it down. DeLon Wright circles right. Inside the arc now to the free throw line, looking for Taylor. He'll get it out near the midcourt line. Taylor using Wyszynski as a pick, and now timeout called by Utah. The Utes a little out of sync there. 21.2 seconds remain. Again, the shot clock is now off.
That's what makes Larry Krasowiak a great coach. He gets into the possession, he doesn't see what he wants, immediately calls the timeout to rally his troops. They've got plenty of time with a 3-point game, but they're at a point now where they've got to do something quick, because if they miss, they want a chance to get some kind of pressure set up.
Well, the question is, always at this point, do you go for the 3-point shot? And I think they were looking for Brandon Taylor there to try and tie the game, or did they try and get a 2, take their chances at the other end? Then they'd have to foul, of course.
Well, I was kind of disappointed in DeLon Wright right there. He's the go-to guy. He had the ball in his hand. He used the ball screen, drove to the free throw line, then he just stopped and picked it up at a time where you've got a height advantage and you're a big-time guy. Take it to the rack, force the issue. He's got to put on the cape and be Superman for the Utes.
Utah has no timeouts remaining. The Utes will inbound the ball. Far side of the court. Arizona leading by 3. DeLon Wright will inbound. T.J. McConnell will cover him on the sideline. And let's see what the Utes have drawn up here. Wright waiting. Gets it into Brandon Taylor. 3-pointer blocked. Tarczewski almost tipped it back in bounds, but lost it out of bounds. Utah ball, 18.8 seconds left. So they were going for the three.
Arizona read that beautifully. Gabe York with the hops, making a great block.
Utes will inbound it again. DeLon Wright looking for Taylor. Has to throw it out for Baczynski. Hand it back to Taylor. Dribbles right. Goes baseline to the bucket. They'll let him lay it up, and he missed it. Hollis Jefferson with the rebound. He's fouled with 10.8 left. And Rondé Hollis Jefferson will shoot 2 free throws. If he makes one of them, the Wildcats would have a 2-possession lead.
Boy, I tell you what, despite all the calls that have gone this way and that, Taylor beats the defense and has a point-blank finger roll, and I mean, he gets the worst roll in the history of basketball. It comes off the back of the rim.
All right, big free throws here for Rondé Hollis Jefferson. He has 2 with 10.8 left. The first one is up, and it's no good. And now the pressure is on, because if he misses this, Utah still very much in the ball game. Hollis Jefferson didn't score in the first half. He's 5 for 7 at the free throw line, trying to give the Wildcats a 4-point lead, and he does as he rolls it in. 10.8 seconds left. Cats by 4. Utah with the ball. DeLon Wright will take it down for Utah. 7, 6. DeLon Wright squares up, shoots the 3. It's off the mark, no good. Rebound, Gabe York. 1 second left, and a foul call, and the Wildcats are going to win it, and they're going to clinch the Pac-12 championship. They will have a share of it in 1.7 seconds.
Well, it wasn't pretty, Brian. It started out a well-played game by both teams. Some very shaky officiating in the second half. But in the end, Arizona's defense down the stretch allowed them to pull away as they made a couple of plays.
Here's Gabe York to shoot 2 free throws. The first one is up and good. Wildcats by 5. Academic now. Gabe York can just add to it. York back into double figures again. Second free throw is up, and that one is good. The Utes will inbound the ball. Taylor will take it, throw it up from 3/4 court. It's off the mark. It's over. Arizona has won in Salt Lake City. And that trophy's going to have the Wildcats' name on it for the 2nd year in a row, as Arizona beats Utah 63-57 here at the Huntsman Center.
You've been listening to Arizona Wild.
About 3 months since I've done these skull crushers. I don't really call them, I don't think they should be called skull crushers, because I wasn't really hitting my head with the barbell whenever I was doing these exercises. But anyway, the skull crushers, or whatever exercise this is, it works out quite a bit on the triceps muscles. A lot of exercises that I do work on the triceps muscles, and from what I heard, I think I was listening to Scooby 1961. He was saying that a lot of your exercises that work on the triceps will actually build bulk in your arms, make your arms look bigger. So that's what I've been doing. I've been working on the triceps a lot. It's just kind of a coincidence. I enjoy working on my triceps too. I don't know if it's just because I knew that they were going to work more on the volume of my arms, or if I was just doing it out of enjoyment, or what it was. But anyway, so I got a little bit of workout in of my triceps, and it was nice to do the skull crushers. Although next time I think I will try and use the sponges, just so I can kind of help protect my hands, my palms, while I'm doing the exercises.